for me, my life has all seriously been about overcoming failures.
That is the. Can you say that again?
My life's been about overcoming failures. People look at me, I think, and they see this snapshot of where I am now. They have not seen the entire movie, and the entire movie is not pretty. I wanted to play college basketball. That's what I played in high school. I didn't play football in high school. I had to lift weights. I was beanpole. But I get to my senior year. I'm getting a few D1 scholarship offers. Went up for a rebound, came down on another dude's foot, turned my ankle, tore ligaments in my ankle, end of my D1 scholarship offers.
That.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, seriously.
Trust me.
Yeah. So then I ended up going to a D2 school, playing basketball. It was, good academic school, but again, I wanted to play sports, man, and I wanted to play sports at the highest level that I could. Ever since I was a little kid, that was my dream. So anyway, and I knew I wasn't going to play in the NBA, but man, I put on a lot of weight. I started lifting weights in college, started eating, like to do both.
Right.
So the football coach actually recruited me to play football. And, he's like, son, you're not going to play in the NBA. Like, I know that. But, with your size, why are you running up and down a basketball court at 290 pounds? You can play football. So, man, I was big, fast. I was
long.
Long as an offensive lineman. Arms are long.
If you're long,
good lateral
you're going to get a phone call.
Good lateral movement playing basketball for all those years.
Drop steps great for protection.
Man, I'll never forget. I'm looking out on practice one day. There's a scout from the Indianapolis Colts over there. And then there's this guy. I remember I got a letter from the Dallas Cowboys. And then I got to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line coach. All this stuff's happening. Then we're putting in trick plays for that weekend's game. No contact. Walking through this play, I wasn't even wearing my helmet or shoulder pads. All right? And I stepped in a hole on the field and blew out my knee. Talk about life turning, right?
Yep.
And that was literally, I went to the Bears camp, but I couldn't pass physical because of my knee. And that was it. All those dreams just evaporated right there, And for me, I'd always been kind of a fan of professional wrestling. I wasn't like super passionate about it, but I was a fan. My buddy we're watching one night. My buddy said, you should try that. And I figured I didn't really have anything to lose, So for me, it's been about overcoming failures and about the ability to step outside of my comfort zone. And I think that, yes, there are some people who are just so naturally gifted at something. They get all the breaks,
they just pick up the ball. Yeah,
but that's literally 1 in a billion.
Right.
It ain't everybody. For most people, you're going to fail at a lot of stuff before you actually get that break. And you have to make the break for yourself. I always talk about our economy here and the free market economy and how you get opportunities. You don't get opportunities. You create the opportunities for yourself, and you do that through hard work. You do that through getting back up after you've got knocked down, and persistence, determination. That's what it takes, that sweat equity. There is no replacement for that, and we were talking earlier about, the generation coming up. And look, I think every generation says that about the next generation.
We can't because we have to,
right,
the boomers are over us. So, there's a high bar.
That's one thing that I would tell young people is, these things that we have now, they were created by people. They weren't given, they're not like a feature, a natural resource. They were created by folks, and eventually you're going to have to work. You're going to have to go through that same process of failure, getting back on your feet, and hard work to become successful in what you want to do. It's that simple. There's no magic formula for it.
There really isn't. And it's funny because, again, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for you, not just wrestling career, but a lot of our stuff mirrored. I can remember the first time I was at practice and there was a scout from the Jets.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, who are they looking at?
Yeah.
And then every time I got in the stance, his little paper came out. And then my offensive lineman coach said, if you can keep your head down, you're playing on Sundays, and this sumbitch is going to take me to dinner.
Right.
So
sure.
And I was like, of course, that play, I stood straight up, because I was like,
yeah.
And then we had a running back come in who had NFL speed, but he had a horrible work ethic.
Yeah.
And I remember the scout came because he was a class above me. And the scout's like, I'm not usually in the business of looking at juniors, kid, but can you get that guy in shape? Because he was in the weight room and 225, which, we still got. We made a little video from Mondani video.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
That's right.
And, I always had a really good bench. I think I was just practicing, it was like the goal. I think I got 32 reps or whatever. Yeah. Of course, there's a scout there, so you're acting casual. Right. It's like a pretty girl in the room, and all of a sudden everyone's all like, oh, excuse me while I bench this car, And they gained the game, and then there was a Charger guy at the game, and my coach is like, hey, man, you got a letter from the New England Patriots, your favorite team. Like, what are you going to do? Don't screw this up, kid. And everything was great. And then we're playing Kansas, and they had that Omni turf. And I'm just stepping to get a linebacker. Linebacker's eyes were already like that. I had already trucked him 3 other plays. Yeah. We had 4 straight first downs inside the 20, and I step and I hear,
yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't extend my knee. I don't know why I can't extend it. And it was a horrible tear. I tore 3 things in one. And by the time I got the crutches on, I'm looking in the stands and I don't even see the jackets anymore.
Yeah, right.
Like it's that.
Right.
And you easily fall into a depression and anger.
Yep.
And
me too, man.
I went from the guy who had all the jokes in the locker room to where I made the locker room uncomfortable because I'm just staring at the ground all the time. And I see the guy playing my position who a guy I bled and sweat with for the last 2 years. Now I hate him.
Yeah.
Because I'm out. I missed 4 games and they're like, we'll do surgery. And then I decide I don't want it. It's just my meniscus and it's just another thing. I can play through it because I had to get back. I had to get those scouts back.
Right.
And then when it doesn't happen, then you start, I was playing arena football, and then finally get things going. I played in the Tri-City Diesel. I was played for them and I was just throwing guys around. So I got some looks again. I get a call from Louisville, Texas saying, hey, why don't you come down to Cowboys camp, train here, and we're going to have a tryout for you, and everything's going great. And I'm all of a sudden now, Buffalo Bills want to bring you in, Toronto, if Canada's interested, and I got an agent all of a sudden, everything is going great. And it walk through, just some pass protection stuff. Guy hits me in the stomach, I pop him in the head, we get a little scuffle. I'm like, oh, he hit me pretty good in the rib. I don't know what's going on. And I went we were in Dallas, and we went to the Times Square that night. And I'm like, man, my side's still bugging me. It's like, I'm too big for him to hurt my rib. I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I remember this woman, whoever she is, it's not your fault. But she was talking to me. And I just remember sitting there going, oh my God, my stuff is killing me. Yeah. And she's like, I was a designer, I'm a producer. And I was just, can you please stop talking to me? Like, I'm sure you're pretty. I can't see right now. My buddies walked over to me like, you're pale, like something's not wrong. We had to go to 4 emergency rooms because they didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, go sleep it off. You probably had too much to drink or something. And finally, a little old janitor lady was like, hey, baby, can you stand on one foot? And I couldn't. I ruptured my appendix during walkthrough, and the most weirdest, and it bled, but it bled into my leg. And if it went the other way, if it went up, I would have died. So I had this emergency. They got it all out and everything. And while they were doing it, they cut nerve endings going into my left knee or into my left leg. Yeah. So after everything's done, I go out to, and again, 6 weeks. Oh no, I'll be back in 2 because I got to get, the Cowboys interested in me. I can't miss time. I was like underwater. I couldn't breathe. I got guys half my size running around me. Had the worst game ever, and it was done. It was like that. It was over. It was done. Like, that's it. Next guy up. Even the arena football team was like, well, I mean, you need to rehab. You came back too soon, and we really don't have the budget for that. And tell you what we're going to do. We'll fly you back to wherever you want to go. And then next season, if you feel good, and you're just like, you're not hearing any of that. All you're hearing is it's over.
Yep.
It's over. It's over. And then it can go horrible. It can go off to another path. And we've seen that. And that ability for certain members of us to go, this sucks. I hate this feeling. What am I going to do about it? For me, it was always not wanting to be what I was told I was going to be. You're going to be just like your father. You're going to be another brother in the street in and out of jail. You're going to sell drugs. You're going to be just like him. Even though I never met him, but that was the bar. Right. So I always fought not to be that. I'll show you. Was there someone in your life that you were like, whether it didn't have to be, mine was always negative. Like, there can be someone who like you just wanted to be like, someone that you grew up around that was always striving for better. Was it older brothers and sisters? Was it family? Was it just something in you?
Yeah, it was, for me, it was just, again, it was just that dream that I had, that I just wasn't willing to let go of it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Me either. It's like, okay, fine. This road, this door. Okay. Wrestling door. Okay. I grew up, I know everybody's name, except I didn't know what gimmick meant, but I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't supposed to. Yeah. But, I never.
Yeah. And, it's also like we were talking about, it's also thinking about, man, I just want to be able, the people I love, I just want to be able to take care of them.
Yep.
And now, like with this job, man, I look back on my life and I think, golly, I grew up on a farm, man. 5 miles outside of a town of 300 people. There was nothing going on there, And my family's better off than most because my dad's 21-year military veteran. So he had his retirement, and then he worked hard, but mainly in factories, got laid off, all that stuff. But we were better off than most folks. But the reason is most folks were dirt poor.
Right.
But thinking about that, and like I got hand-me-down clothes from my brother. Brother's bigger than I am, thankfully. My mom always cut my hair all through my.
How was it getting shoes?
I don't. Well, yeah.
That was fun.
The shoes, I think we were
fun. Yeah.
But seriously, like my shoes. My shoes came from like Dollar General.
Oh yeah. I got the Kmart thing,
which is fine, but. It felt like often that my family was just struggling to keep our head above water. And my mom and dad worked so hard, and I wanted to be able to take care of my family, and take care of them too, in a way that I have. Actually, what drove me was kind of this paranoia about, I'm never going to have any money. I'm always going to be working my butt off, just living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by, barely scraping by, And again, we weren't really like that, but I could see if a couple things went wrong, that's where we would go, and that's almost what drove me. And then I think now, man, so I grew up there. I found something I was good at, a niche thing, really. Traveled the world, entertained all these people. Man, I have people come up to me now, and I'm sure you're the same, that, thank me for years of entertainment.
Yeah, I feel real old when I used to dance in the ring with you. I'm like, what are you, 35, bro?
You think about that and you realize the impact was actually the emotional impact that you had on other people.
Yeah.
And sometimes one of, I don't know if you've ever seen me talk about this, one of the most powerful, Crystal and I were at a concert in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And this lady comes up to me and shows me a picture on her phone. It was me and her son at Children's Hospital. And it's like, that was the last picture she had of her son. He was still alive. And I realized, oh my God, that's the actual blessing out of all this.
Yeah.